Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy, geez, what's today? Wednesday already. My gosh. Okay. Sorry for the late live stream tonight. My first day back to my normal work today, so I had to stay a little late, get caught up and things, and then I had to listen to the Iren's conference call, put in the data for Iren Hive as well. We got those to talk about for the results. We also have, what else we got? Riot. They're changing up their board. We'll talk about that. Kind of interesting picks that they have there. CPI data came out also today. Bitcoin went down because of it in the beginning, then bounced back up, which is kind of nice. Miners did the same thing. Got some good news on Bitcoin and adoption happening here as well. So there's quite a few things we got to talk about. We're going to try and get through this as fast as possible. Greatly appreciate you guys coming in, but as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, for terminal only. Do your own research. Full disclosure about all that. As always, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin today. Bitcoin did pretty good today, all things considered. We'll take it, right? Bitcoin was up 2.18%. So it was up a little over 2% on the day. Had a nice bounce. It went down to a low of 94,066 and bounced off of that. So that was good. We're still below our 50 simple day moving average, which is the red line right here right now. We did bounce above the 100 simple day moving average, which is nice. We'll see where we get to, but we're still basically trading sideways on it, right? We'll see how long it takes us to get out of this wedge here on it. Hopefully sooner than later, but we'll see. Okay, so Bitcoin did pretty good today. It's down a little bit right now. And then, let's see, MicroStrategy was down, actually up today a little bit as well, 2.3. Bitfarms was up 3.82% on the day. BitDeer was up 3.19. Cypher was up 1.4. Cleanspark was up 2.3. CORZ was actually down again today, down 1.39%. Hive was up 1.1%. Hut A was up 1.14. Iren was up 4.75. Mara was up 1.37. And then Riot was up 0.18. Wolf was up 1.89%. Smaller miners were a little bit more mixed. We had Argo being up 6.8, Bit Digital being up 5.84, Stronghold being up a little bit as well, and then the ETFs were up as well for the day. I'm not sure why my dog is barking. You guys can probably hear that as it is. She's barking at something. She probably saw something outside. Let's see, what else do we have here? Here's everything else that we track. IWM was down, King was down, Applied was down, Trumpcoin was up just a little bit, Tesla was up, Galaxy was up as well, NVIDIA was down a little bit as well. So overall, not too bad of a day for us, but definitely need a heck of a lot more of these kind of days for us to do really well going forward and get out of this kind of slump that we're in right now with the miners and Bitcoin in general. All right, so Bitcoin for right now for the month of February is only down 4.88% because of today. We had a nice little day, 2% up. So we're still in the red. We want to turn it green. So we really need to get moving on it going forward here. And let's get into the stories that we do have here. The first one's going to be on the CPI. So CPI data, as you guys know, came in. Inflation rises to 3% above expectations of the 2.9, so it's up 0.1. Core CPI inflation rises to 3.3 above expectations of 3.1. So that was a little bit higher than definitely expected. And then the headline CPI inflation is up for the fourth straight months, and core CPI is officially back on the rise again. So inflation is in the U.S. is hot, basically. I wouldn't say it's hot, but it's up, right? Historically, January is usually a month where we see a little bit of spike in inflation because of the holidays prior as well. So that's usually a factor in that as well. But overall, it wasn't that bad. What does that mean for us? Well, it means that the Fed is definitely going to be putting a pause on any potential interest rate decreases going forward. They're going to keep an eye on where CPI, core CPI is at. A couple more months to see if it's trending in the downward direction or in the upwards direction. If it's going up, we might actually see an increase in interest rates, which would probably be not good. But we'll see. Okay, there's that. Then we have one good story here for Bitcoin. New 114 billion VanEck Matthew Siegel says the demand from 20 U.S. Bitcoin reserve bills could see states buy over 242,787 Bitcoin. Right, this is bullish. This is good news for us. This is something that we want to see. It's going to drive Bitcoin price up higher for us, so that's good. Next here, New York is on the map. Right, these are all bills, including non-SBRs, so it could be just bills looking into cryptocurrencies, anything like that. You got a lot of states that are looking at it now. You only have a couple of states. Well, maybe, what is it now, 10, 12 states or something like that aren't doing anything right now with it. I'm not going to count it here, but you can definitely check it out. But it's definitely good news, okay? Next, get into the real stories that we do have here. So Riot. Riot Platforms announces changes to its board of directors and provides update on formal evaluation of AI HPC uses. So today they announced the appointment of Jamie Leverton. You may recall that name. Jamie Leverton used to be the CEO of Hut 8 during the merge with US Bitcoin. After the merge, they kicked her out, basically, ousted her out of there, and I don't know what she's been doing since then. It's been, over a year now, I guess, since that's happened. So that's kind of interesting that they pulled her for the board seat there. Can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see as well. Let's see, Jimmy Leverton, Doug, I'm going to probably butcher his name, Mutan, and Michael Turner to his board of directors. The 3 new directors were selected through a comprehensive process conducted by the board's governance and nominating committee, with constructive, independent input from each of Starboard Value LP and the D.E. Shaw Group, right? Those are the activist investors there. Collectively, the new directors possess experience directly overseeing the conversation of Bitcoin mining assets for potential artificial intelligence, high-performance computing, uses managing data center operations, and maximizing the value of dynamic real estate properties similar to those owned and operated by Riot, okay? So this was definitely activist investors pulling their weight a little bit, I guess, or, yeah, kind of showing their strength a little bit, making the changes here, I believe. Looks like Jason is still safe for the time being. Doesn't look like he's been ousted yet. But moving forward, the board will consist of 6 members. Ms. Leverton and Mr. Moton will be serving as Class 1 directors, standing for the election at the upcoming 2025 annual meeting of stockholders. Additionally, current directors Hannah Cho and Hubert Marleau will be retiring from the board. These changes are effective basically immediately. So definitely a little shakeup there happening at Riot right now. Going down here to the individual board members here, right? You know, Ms. Leverton most recently served as the Chief Executive Officer of Hut 8. Going down here where she facilitated extensive M&A and capital market activities, including the company's NASDAQ listing and its expansion into HPC space through the acquisition of TerraGo, Inc.'s data centers business. Prior to Hut 8, Ms. Leverton held leadership roles as Chief Commercial Officer at Structure Data Centers and General Manager, Vice President for Canada and APC for Kogeko, Pier 1. Let's see, Managing Director. So, I mean, she obviously has experience there, and it'll be interesting to see how she does there. But if you recall what happened with Hut 8, a lot of people were not happy with her being at the helm there and the way that she led that company. So we'll see how she does here as a board member. Hopefully she moves the company in the right direction. So that's her, Doug Moton. Doug is currently a member of the advisory board of Fidelis New Energy, developer of multi-gigawatt zero-carbon power facilities in Europe and the U.S. He was previously senior engineer lead, data center design and construction at Meta. So, okay, this guy's definitely got the chops here for this, for what they're going for the data centers, HPC AI. You want somebody like this. And then the third new member is Michael Turner here. Michael Turner is the former president of Oxford Properties Group, a leading global real estate investor, asset management, and business builder, as well as the former global head of real estate for the OMERS pension plan. So this guy's into real estate, and that might be a good sign there. That way they can look for other sites potentially as well. So this might be a pretty good one there as well, if they're going to be looking for other sites, right? Or trying to not list, but trying to get clients for the sites that they already do have, basically. So those are pretty good there, and that's basically it. So like I said, pretty interesting. Activist investors are definitely having their way right now and pushing their weight around a little bit at Riot. So we'll see how that all progresses going forward here for them. Next, get into some of the earnings here. So Hive announces quarterly revenue of $29.2 million, adjusted EBITDA of $17.3 million, with an increase in Bitcoin holdings to 2,805 as of, I guess, maybe today. Going down here, total revenue, $29.2 million, right? This was a combination of their Bitcoin mining and high-performance computing. Operating margins, $6.1 million from gross operating margins, representing profitable operating margins from Bitcoin mining and HPC business units. HPC growth, the HPC business achieved a $10 million annualized run rate based on quarterly revenue of $2.5 million, highlighting Hive's presence in high-performance computing, right? So they definitely have some business there, but it's small compared to something like what currently Bit Digital has, or even, CORZ with CoreWeave, right? And then adjusted EBITDA was 17.3 million. Net income after tax of 1.3 million, driven by foreign exchange gains and unrealized gains on investments. A significant improvement over the 7 million loss in the same period last year. So they were able to squeak out basically a win with some realized gains and things like that on it. What else do we have here? Their future hash rate growth, right? They're at 6 exahash, 4x growth to 25 exahash. That's fantastic growth there. This is going to help them get closer to scale. When we look at the numbers here in a second, you're going to see that their costs to mine or Bitcoin are still high. And getting to scale is going to help that, lower those costs overall. What else do we have here? That's basically the talk about Paraguay expansion. We talked about that already previously. And what else? At the market offering, they've used 21 million shares here, got about 70 or 87.5 million worth of funds from that. So they've been diluting here and diluted quite a bit here. We'll take a look at that as well. So let's take a look at Hive here really quick. Hive right now has 155 million shares as of this report. Market cap at 427 million as it is. Performance over the last 12 weeks has been great. Going down here to the actual numbers here, revenue 29.23 million, right? Current quarter we're estimating about 29.08 million. Might be actually down if they don't actually, well, one thing could happen. Bitcoin could go up and they can generate more. Other thing could happen is they could install actually more hash rate. That could also help them out generate more revenue there. Definitely want to see that in the upwards direction here going forward. Last 4 quarters operating cost minus depreciation here, 27.2 million compared to 24.8, so not a huge increase, but a slight increase there. Here's the important part of it. Cost to mine 1 Bitcoin minus depreciation came in at around 70,000 for him, which was 63,000 before, so that is high, right? And the reason for that is, well, one, their hash rate needs to grow, like I said before. You need to do that, but they're also, I think the cost of electricity in some of the spots they're in is maybe not that favorable. There's some spots that they do have that are really good around 3 cents, 4 cents, something like that. But maybe some other ones are a little bit higher than that. BTC mined here was actually lower for the quarter, 323 compared to 340. That's a result of not growing as fast as the network hash rate is concerned. Debt to equity lower is better. Really good, healthy balance sheet here, 0.1. Basically, current ratio higher is better. They're at 10, so they have enough capital 10 times over to pay off the current debt that they have. Total current assets increased to 310 million, and total current liabilities went down to 29.8 million. Going down here onto the actual numbers here. For them, we'll get into some of these numbers here in a second. Current assets, we talked about that, 310 million. That was a nice increase. Total assets also increased to 478 million, so that's good. Total current liabilities went down to 29 from 36. That's good. Total liabilities went down to 44 from 55. Stockholder equity is now 478 million compared to 334 million, so that's good. And then here we go, revenues. So revenues came in at, for Bitcoin mining, 26.6 million. I had them at 26 point, yeah, I mean, I was off by 0.08%. So really happy with that number. That came out good. High performance computing went up for them to 2.5 million from 1.8 over the quarter, so that was good. Still not as high as it was here in the first quarter for them, which was the June ending quarter, which was 2.6 million here, but pretty close to that. So that's good. Operating maintenance costs went up a little bit here to 22.6 from 22.4, so that's not bad. Gross profit based on that was negative 12 million here, it looks like. And well, they added 18.7 million in depreciation compared to 16 million. That's a result for that. But operating and maintenance costs, 22 million where you generated 26 million from Bitcoin mining, right? That's not good. That's, you got pretty low margins there as it is right now. Add on top of other things, and then you're looking pretty not good. Going down here, what else do I have here? Where is it? General administrative, 4.5 million compared to 3.3, so that's 1.2 million increase here, roughly. On that, foreign exchange, share-based compensation, 3.5, 2.5, 2.2 there. That's an increase of 1.3 also on that one. What else do we have here? That was, let's see. That was substantial here. Okay, net loss, gain, income for the period came in at 1.2 million roughly for them based on this. For the period, what else do we have here? Gross profit margin, 4.3%. Now, that's not good. And then, let's see, revaluation loss on digital currencies. They got 76 million on that. So that brought them up here to 66 million, looks like, for the period, or a penny basically. Is what I'm calculating, was what they, I believe, said also. So they were just slightly positive at that point. Big take, I mean, big thing for them is to get to scale, right? Being at 6 exahash does not help. They got to get to 25 exahash as fast as possible. They're working to do that by the end of the third quarter, I believe. So that's a good sign there. And then as far as dilution is concerned here, we saw 20% dilution in shares from the last time they reported results as well. They're 155 million now compared to 129 that they were at last time. Still 20% dilution there. Cost of buying Bitcoin, like we talked about, 70,000 here. Debt to equity, we talked about that. Book value of equity, 434. Price to book ratio, 0.98. Enterprise value was 202 million. EBITDA was 85.5 million, looks like, and EV to EBITDA was 2.36 on it, based on the numbers that I'm looking at here, or calculating at least on all this stuff here. So this is not good. This definitely needs to get improved here going forward, because that's not going to cut it. They really need to, well, getting to scale is going to help, because if you're able to generate 4 times roughly, we know the hash rate is going to grow anyways, but if they can actually get, roughly 4x growth, and I'll just say that that results in basically 3x revenues for them, that's going to help, especially if they, well, as long as their costs stay the same for like SG&A and things like that. We know that operating costs are probably going to increase because of it, but they should come down as a result of just having better machines and everything else. So the following quarters should be better for them. I want to see this number actually go down. I do not want to see this continue to go up, because that's not a good sign. So, and it has been going up here recently, so that's not good. We need to reverse that. We need to go down on that number. So that's maybe part of the reason why it's also way undervalued right now. It's just that cost to operate is not good. All right. Even based on all this stuff that we have here, what we know, I still think that they are undervalued. I would think that it would be, I can't give them even a 50% net income, so I would probably have to reduce that down to maybe 25% where they are right now, because they're not at 50% net income on this stuff, or 75% at this point. So if we lower them down 25% of that, so let's just say 388 to like 788, somewhere around there, I would think that they would be a fair value. If they improve their operational income and improve their margins, then we can possibly start thinking that they're going to be between 788 and 1181 right now. Okay? Does that make sense? I think it does. They're currently at 275, so I do think that they're undervalued a little bit. But as they improve their margins, things should get higher up to like these numbers here. All right? And that is it on Hive here. Good thing is, like I said before, is the growth. The operations are great. They got to cut the costs, or at least lower the cost by getting to scale. All right. Next, let's take a look at Iren. Iren is the one that's pretty interesting here. It's got a lot of stuff going on here. I listened to the conference call as well. A lot of great insight into what's going on there, and a lot of good things possibly going forward for them as well. Only time will tell if anything develops out of those things here. So Iren reports, right? Here's a quote. We are excited to announce transformative growth initiatives across the business. Firstly, Horizon 1, which is a new 75 megawatts direct-to-chip liquid cooling deployment at Childress for AI HPC. Secondly, developing a new 600 megawatt Sweetwater 2 site located 28 miles from the existing Sweetwater 1 project, expected to create 2 gigawatts data center hub. So they have 1.4 gigawatts at Sweetwater 1, and then 600 megawatts at the Sweetwater 2 site. So that's kind of interesting there. All right, so here's some key growth initiatives from them. 75 megawatt gross, 50 megawatt IT load. This is at Childress. Direct-to-chip cooling, designed to support NVIDIA's Blackwell, 200 kilowatt rack density, so that's good there. Focus on multi-tenant AI co-location opportunities. So they're looking kind of what they've been doing here recently with some of the customers that they have for HPC-AI, which is smaller customers. They're putting them in the same area, right? But that's working out okay for them. Target completion of this is second half of 2025. Sweetwater 2 is the new one that they're working on here. They're finalizing 600 megawatt grid connection agreement. There's no guarantee that that's going to happen, but they believe it's going to be. They believe it's going to happen, right? But there's no guarantee on it, at least not yet. Grid network studies complete, so that's good. 500 plus acres of land secured of it. Located near existing Sweetwater site, about 28 miles away. Design work underway for direct fiber loop between Sweetwater and 1 and 2. That's going to be costly to dig that. 28 miles or something like that. Around, 28 miles one way. You can bury 2 cables on it unless you want to do it. Redundancy, have it on 2 different sides of the street or something like that. So that way if one gets cut, the other one side of the street gets cut, you're not losing 2 cables. So maybe they'll do something like that. Let's see, prioritizing prioritizing whole off-site single tenant opportunities. So they're looking for somebody to take on basically 2 gigawatts potentially. Flexibility to bootstrap with Bitcoin mining. So while they're working on that, and if they don't get the whole thing to one tenant, they can do Bitcoin mining there as well, and HPCI. Let's see, Sweetwater 1 is energization on track for April 2026, and then Sweetwater 2 energization expected in 2028. So we're a ways out, 3 years out basically on that one. Let's see here, their growth trajectory is still the 50 exahash expansion on track for the first half of this year. Horizon 1 adjusts prior expansion plan from 57 exahash to 52 exahash. So we saw that also with Riot, right? Keeping back? 600 megawatts, I think Riot is what's keeping it back for HPCI. They're keeping back, 70 megawatts or something like that. It's not that big of a deal there. Low-cost production, 3 cents per kilowatt chillers power pricing since transition to spot pricing. Fantastic job there. 75% hardware profit margin as of January 2025, right? That's just for electricity cost. And what their cost is there. And then corporate and funding. This is fantastic. U.S. domestic issuer status confirmed to be adopted for a second half of 2025. So they're going to take on GAAP accounting. They're going to be domiciled basically, I believe, issuer status domestic, so in the U.S. For that, that's going to be good. And then they're prioritizing acceleration of new strategic growth initiatives and deferring consideration of potential investor distributions. Okay, so this is where they're talking about possibly doing a dividends or something like that. In the prior call, I think they spoke about it, or I can't remember where. It was somewhere in there that they were talking about possibly doing dividends. At that point, I even said, no, there's no way they're going to be doing dividends. It just doesn't make any sense. They're in growth mode. You do not do dividends when you're in growth mode. You do dividends when you have nothing else to grow into and you're making a boatload of money. That's the time you do dividends back to your shareholders, not in growth mode. So good to see that they are deferring that, they're saying. On it, quarterly results here, 129% increase in Bitcoin mining revenue, 113.5 million. Driven by growth in operating hash rate and higher Bitcoin prices during the quarter, which was good for them. 39% decrease in net electricity cost per Bitcoin mined from 35,000 to 21,000. This is fantastic, right? This is what we want to see in like Hive doing, right? Going from 70,000 down to like maybe 50,000, then maybe lower than that possibly. So this is great there. Adjusted EBITDA of 62.6 million, and then net profit after income tax was 18.9 million. So that was good. Anything else in here? That's basically it. We'll get into some of the details here as well, but a lot of good here. They were able to get a positive EPS, I think it was 9 cents, 98 cents. We'll take a look at it here in a second. I don't think I highlighted it here, but we'll take a look at it nonetheless on this sheet here for Iren. So Iren right now, 218 million shares. They have diluted a little bit here. Market cap 2.8 billion right now. Performance over the last 12 weeks has actually been pretty good. Last week, it looks like they were up 22% on the week, 15% from 12 weeks ago. So they're doing really good. Current hash rate 31, right? Future hash rate 57 exahash. Well, so I need to lower that down to 52 exahash. So I'll get that adjusted in time. Going down here to their numbers here, Q2 came in at 119.59 million, right? And then this is for their self-Bitcoin mining, I believe, or a combination. I can't remember if it might be combination. Current quarter estimate 149 million on that, so that's going to be a nice bump for them as well. Last 4 quarters operating cost minus depreciation went up just a little bit, 59.2 from 58, so that's good there. Cost to mine 1 Bitcoin, I have them at 22,000, they said 21 something, pretty close. We're within $500 basically on it. 36 was the prior Bitcoin mine quarterly. Nice increase here to 1,347 for Q2. Love seeing that as well. Debt to equity, lower is better. They're still really good at 0.43. Increased a little bit here. Current ratio did dip a little bit more. It's now 0.93. But they've been growing and building out like crazy. Total current assets went up to 522. And then total current liabilities went up to 559. And that's a result of their, what is that? Convertible notes. That's the reason for that popping up in there. Going down here, we'll take a look at this in a second here. Current assets, talked about that already, right? 522 from 148, right? Cash improved quite tremendously, 427 from 98 million. Total current assets, 525 now. Let's see, property and plant went up to 1.2 billion from 965 million. And then what else do we have here? That was an improvement. Let's see, total assets is now 1.8 billion compared to 1.2 billion. So that's good. Total current liabilities went up to 559, and the big thing for that is the convertible notes, which was 318 million added onto that. Over here, total liabilities now 565 from 151. Revenues, okay. So revenues came in at 119.5 for total, which was 113.4 million in revenue for Bitcoin mining. I had them at right around there. I was off by 0.072%. So really close to it. Love seeing that, as always, that we can get that close to it. AI cloud services actually went down 2.6 million from 3.1. Other services revenue increase here. I have to look at what those actually entail. 3.4 compared to 1.6. That is a nice increase there, though. Operating costs here. Well, gain loss on sale of assets. So that was 36 million here. Depreciation was only 30 million, so not a huge increase from where they were the prior quarter. Employee benefits expense actually went down to 6.9 from 7.7, so that's good. Share-based payments also went down to 7.9 from 8.1, a little decrease, so that was good. On that, professional fees went up to 3.5. Okay, they're hiring consultants and all that stuff, so that's all right. Other expenses went up just a little bit as well. Nothing major here. Operating profit loss actually was 31 million here compared to negative 53, so that's good there. Finance expense went up quite a bit, 6.2 million from 63,000 looks like, so that was a big hit there. And then profit loss before income tax benefits expense was 21 million here. Income tax benefits, they have a obligation there, so they brought them down to 18 million. Foreign currency translation also brought them down to other comprehensive income at 11 million negative looks like, but they came in net loss of 6.9 million, so actually net gain of 6.9 million, and then they came in at 9 cents per EPS. I had them between 0 and I think like 16 cents was my estimate, somewhere around share-based compensation, depreciation, all that stuff. So kind of came in right in the middle of where I thought they were going to come in at. So that was actually pretty good as well. Overall, really, really good. Right? They also don't have HODL, so they couldn't take advantage of the FSB rules. I don't think they would have been able to anyways because they're right now domiciled in Australia. But not having HODL position, really good, really efficient as far as probably one of the best efficient miners here, the group that we cover here. So really, really nice job by the team there. We'll see how they do going forward, but I see nothing but green pastures for them going forward here. All right, so like we talked about, custom Bitcoin was 22,000 for them, or 21,000 they said. We're really close on that. Book value of equities was 1.2, price to book ratio 2.2, enterprise value 2.9. EBITDA was 64, debt to EBITDA was 8.7, revenue here, what was that? General administrative compensation was 14.9, that's 12% of their numbers, that's down from 29, so that's good there. And then the shares increased to 218 from 198. What is that actual increase there on it? 10% increase in number of shares, so 10% dilution. Not too bad for the amount of growth that we saw here. That's actually really good. Okay. What can I say about Iren? They're undervalued. I mean, they're definitely undervalued for where they should be. Just like some of the other companies here, Cleanspark and others as well. So they're at 1301 today. I'm between 29 and 43, right? So they're definitely undervalued for where they really should be, based on just the simple fact that Bitcoin continues to go up. They continue to generate more. Plus, depending what kind of deals they get for the HPCI sites, world is open for them. We'll see where they end up at here later on this cycle. But I imagine they're going to be a lot higher than where they are right now. Okay? Okay. I think that's it. All right. Rambled on long enough. Went through this relatively quick because there was just a lot of stuff happening here. But let's get into your guys' Q&A as always. But I got to do my little sales pitch. Patreon members, thank you for all your support over the many months, years, days, whatever it might be. Really appreciate it. You guys definitely helped me and able to do this on a daily basis. So greatly appreciate you guys there. And then if anybody wants access to all the spreadsheets, which the Patreon members do get, link is down in the description, $8 a month. You might be able to find a couple of spots that are still open at 5 and 4. Definitely take advantage of those if they're open to you. Okay? That's it. Let's get into Q&A here, and we're going to call it a day because it's getting late as it is. And tomorrow's another day. So tomorrow we're going to cover, I didn't get a chance to do BitDeer. BitDeer provided their operational update for January, so we'll do that tomorrow probably along with whatever else I might have missed on it. Okay? But as always, questions, preface them with a question mark or a Q. I'm going to scroll up, see if I can find any questions, and we'll work our way down from there. Okay, looks like we don't have too many questions here, which is kind of good. All right. Can't see it. Cleanspark's financial report is significantly better than Iren, so why is it stock price performing so poorly? What are the institutions shorting Cleanspark thinking? Yeah, I have no idea. It's just manipulation. I can't figure it out either, right? They had really good numbers, good EPS figures, all that stuff, and still the stock went up. Well, the stock did go up like 18% in one day, then it came back down. So go figure. Let's see here. Question, Wolf is no longer doing monthly updates. Riot is scaling back on expansion plans. Mara cost is too high. Is it now just really about 2 miners, Iren and Cleanspark? Well, is Wolf not doing those? Is that correct? I haven't seen their report yet. I'm giving them till the end of the week here to come up with one. But if they're not doing it, that's not great. It's going to definitely make it a lot harder to track them, and we may have to actually take them out of the group that I have, because I need those monthly updates to see how they're doing, comparing them to the other miners as well. So that'll be interesting to see. Mara's cost is too high. We need to see what Mara's numbers come in at. We know that Mara's has historically been higher because in the past, at least, they were mostly hosted. Now they're, I think, 55% owned, so that should lower the cost there. But they still have 45% that is hosted, which then does raise up their numbers there. So we'll see where they come in at for that. But after that, yeah, I mean, you're looking at Iren and Cleanspark being like the top potential performers there as far as operations, costs, and things like that. Riot was getting better, or was doing better with Bitcoin mining over the last couple months. They've been improving on their operations, uptime, and things like that. Costs have been also pretty good. So we'll need to see Riot's numbers as well there. But they're pretty much pausing their expansion of Bitcoin mining beyond, 38 exahash, I think, something like that. So we'll see. Hello, Seb. With the change in Riot board, does that change anything for Bitfarms? Maybe. That's a good question. It might. Depending on the board there, the board might say, hey, cut your losses, cut your ties there, use that cash for something better, right? So that might be something there. Okay. How would you categorize the Iren versus Cleanspark's earning? Is one substantially better than the other? Well, Cleanspark is better by the simple fact that they have a HODL position, right? That HODL position definitely helped them out get a better EPS number there. If you take out the HODL position, I think they still would have been in the positive on the EPS, but it would have been, I would have to run the numbers on it. So I think that's kind of what's helping Cleanspark out there, especially if Bitcoin goes up even more. That HODL position is going to be valued a lot more. That's going to help them going forward as well. And then it's two different stories, really, right? Iren sells everything that they mine, put it back into the business. They're also going more towards now with HPC. They also have more megawatts going forward, so that's interesting there. And Cleanspark's a different animal. Cleanspark's hodling, they're using that to their advantage as well. So I think they're both great companies. Definitely the two I think most people should own. Right, let's see what else we got. Let's see, February. Being historically hot for the miners during the bull run, do you have a date month where if things don't start going up, you'll look towards getting out? We can't follow these miners into the bear market. Yeah. February historically has been a really good month for us. We've only had 2 years prior, or historically 2 years that have been a red month in February. So I'm still positive that we might end up in the green. I don't know if we're going to have a really good month as far as being up 30% or something like that, but we might still be up, 5, 10% or whatever it might be on the month. We'll see on it. At one point, would I start looking to possibly get out? Oh gosh, I would say if we're still probably trading sideways with Bitcoin for like the next 2 months or something like that. But then that might also mean that we were in an extended cycle. Which I'm not convinced that we're not, So it's not going to be easy. We'll keep an eye on things. Let's see. Jordan says, Iren's ER was good for BTC mining, meh for AI, HPC in the near term. You're looking at 2026 possibly at the earliest they could do something, right? with Clearwater, Sweetwater 1. So, yeah, Bitcoin mining, yeah, I agree with you there. That's the reason I got into them was because of the Bitcoin mining and operations things, and then the HPCI is just a bonus on top of it, right? They get something on top of it that's going to be all good there. Yeah, Jordan, I was also a little surprised that, but maybe she's got the clout, maybe she's got the contacts and everything else, and she's got maybe the experience, maybe that's what they went for, somebody that can possibly point them in what they need to look for, or it was just forced on them by the activist investors. Don't know. Let's see. Anthony Power said Wolf IR contacted him. Oh, so they're not doing the monthly updates anymore. Okay. They're might be transitioning over completely to HPCI. That's interesting. It's kind of sad. Well, we'll give it a couple more days, see if they change their mind. Because I think who was also not going to report. I think at one point Hut 8 said that they're looking into possibly not reporting monthly updates. Or Hut 8. Will the miners run this cycle? Looks like it's getting late. Hope something happens before cycle end. Well, that's the thing. Is it a similar cycle like we've had in the past, or is it a different cycle? What if it's an extended cycle? Which I would not honestly like, because I think the miners will drag on and drag out for longer than I want it to be in them. I'd love to have another cycle like we had in the past. Bitcoin goes skyrocketing up. We can sell the miners, be happy, rinse and repeat, right? Let's see. Where do you see Riot with BTC at 200,000? Well, we need to know when. I know they're getting to like 38 exahash fully installed or something like that. At that point, it also will depend if they're able to do something with the 600 megawatts for HPCI deal there. So it's not that easy. If 200,000, I mean, based on where they are right now, Riot is at $11. Bitcoin going up 100%. I would think that, Riot would be at least around $20 at that point. That would be my bare minimum is where I think it should be. Let's see, question. CPI higher, but BTC actually bounced. Word on technical analysis channels is that BTC breakout is imminent. Any breakout stories you seeing, or am I too deep in the weeds? I don't really track people that do technical analysis that much. But yeah, I mean, based on just what I'm seeing here, we're in a little bit of a wedge, sideways pattern. If we can break out of that wedge by the end of February, that would be good. Early into March as well. Let's see. Jordan says, honestly, Bitfarms should just let Riot buy them out. I mean, right now, yeah. I mean, based on before, we thought we were going to have a little bit more growth and things like that. But even now, they might be able to weather the storm here and maybe come out better on the other side of it. Who knows? It's the question. From what I've seen on Riot's shares of Bitfarms, they would at least be down like 40%. You think they would sell at that bad of a loss? Yeah, depending on when they were buying. I think they were buying in the, was it like 140s, no, probably higher. I think they were buying like 150s, 160s, 180s, right? Even closer to $2 at one point. Yeah, so they might be at a loss. They might just maybe wait for the stock to get back to that and start selling on it. So it's going to be tough on Bitfarms there. Isn't it weird that CORZ didn't announce that they will do the convertible notes? They didn't do any convertible notes? I thought they did. But if they didn't, that's interesting there. Hello, Seb. Do you think there isn't a Bitcoin cycle anymore? Everything is happening completely different from the previous cycles? Thanks. Well, that's one of my thoughts, thesis, whatever you want to call it, that this cycle might be different. I hope it's not, but it's looking like it's different. I mean, we already had the all-time high before the halving event. That's never happened before, right? So that's different there. We have just so much more adoption. There's just so much more institutional players involved than we've never had before as well. So it is already different in that regard. Yeah, time will only tell. I wish I had a crystal ball to tell. Let's see, do you still see 110,000 BTC in February? I think it's still possible. I mean, we got to 109,000, so we weren't too far off from it as it is. So I think it's still possible. Okay. Right, here we go. Will Cleanspark pass Riot and Bitcoin holding very soon? It's going to take a while. Riot's got, what is it, like 17,000 right now? Right, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at Riot here. Riot's got 18,221, right? Riot's generating 527 BTC, roughly. If they hold on to all that, it's going to be tough. And then Cleanspark's generating 626, and that's going to be tough to catch up. It's going to take, a couple of years, depending on the HODL position, but it's going to be tough for them to catch up. Unless they're going to 50 exahash. It's still going to take a while. It's going to take at least over a year, I would imagine, to catch up. Maybe even more than that. I mean, because it's only, 100 Bitcoin difference between the two? 626, yeah, 100 Bitcoin. So you're looking at 1,200 Bitcoin a year, roughly, right? And you got a 8,000 difference. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at possibly, 5 years or something like that before they can catch up to them. Unless they actually buy Bitcoin like Riot did here, which I doubt they're going to do. Okay, back here. Let's see. All right, let's see. Omar says, Jamie ran Hut 8 into the ground, no growth over bear market, bidding on the stranded gas assets, USBTC merger failure. She was named in the short report for Citron. She had, for a reason, Hut went AI. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that didn't go well there, that's for sure. All right, I think we're done. I don't see any more questions coming in here. Let's see, I got one more. Nope. Let's see, I think that's it. Am I missing something? Yeah, I think that is it. Okay, we'll call it a day. I'm tired. It's late. It's almost 11 o'clock my time here. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with all this stuff. We'll see where Bitcoin goes. We'll see where the miners go. We'll see what other news stories we get. And then I'm sure we're going to get more quarterly results from the miners as well. And then I'll look into Wolf, see if they're actually not doing that. I'll reach out to Anthony, if Anthony can shed a little light on that as well. But that's definitely interesting. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. As always, greatly to have you here. Appreciate you all. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.